Hello viewers, my name is Raza and today we'll be learning how to work in QuickBooks in regards to the transactions with vendors, how to enter or create bills, how to pay the bills, full amount and partial amount, making payment by Write Cheques directly from Write Cheque tab, or making payment using debit card, making payment using credit card, and edit or make corrections in a transaction in multiple ways. We'll also learn how to find and search options to edit or payment of bills or transactions. So it will be a complete class regarding vendors when we'll be starting all the way from entering the bills, paying the bills in different ways, and go all the way until uh, editing the transactions if we want to make any changes in that transactions. So let's start the class. First thing that we are learning in this class is how to enter bills. So as you know that enter bills options all the way here. Just in case if you like if you're working with a company and you can see for the vendors we don't do only these type of transactions like enter bills and pay bills. We also work with 1099 or other stuff, so you can always go to vendors tab here, click it, and then here you can see what are the other things that we are actually working with the vendors. So you can see here we can use the bill tracker, enter bills, pay bills, we can issue the 1099 form. All of these things that we can do with the vendors are available in the vendors tab here. But just for the sake of transactions, we normally do if we are there are two type of transaction. If we are buying and paying right away, then it means we are paying by check or you can say that credit card or debit card. So those options will be available here. Like either you'll be writing the checks or you'll be using a credit card or debit card for payment of these transactions. So we'll be learning that part. One more thing, if you are paying like in future, let's say you are doing a credit transaction, you are buying something now and you have to pay after 15 days or 30 days or let's say 5 days or 10 days or whatever the credit terms set with your vendor, then you'll be using only these two options, like you'll be entering the bills and paying the bills. But let's say if you are doing a transaction wherein you are directly making payments for your transaction, you can always go with the write check option, or the same option can be used for the debit card transactions, or you can go with the credit card, sorry, debit card transaction. But also if you want to go with the credit card transaction, you can go with the do the transaction using credit card. Uh, so you can see that credit card transactions are not visible in the vendors here or in the banking. So always remember that credit card transactions, if you don't find in any of these places, it must be in the banking. And here you can see enter credit card charges. This button is there. This specific button is for credit card payment, that you are paying your bills using the credit card. So it is not only the bill, it's actually the transactions. Let's say you have to pay right away, then you are using this tab. Sometimes this icon is visible in this place. So it depends, either you can go with the tab or you can click the icon directly from this place. So uh, let's start working with the entering the bills. So if you want to enter a bill, just simply click this button, enter bills. And here we are updating the bill of GJB Wireless. So we'll be selecting the name of the vendor. So I suggest instead of searching the vendors from by clicking this one, maybe you have hundreds of vendors and it will be a big exercise. But if you start typing, this list will be getting narrowed down. So now you can see GJB Wireless is visible now. Simply click it, and then we have to do a transaction on 9/10/23. So 09/10/23. QuickBook is date friendly. You just need to put the numbers. QuickBook will take care of the correct formatting. And then the invoice number is 0616 and the date is 08/2023. So invoice is about August 2023. The amount due is 61.28. And then we are updating the memo. So I can copy the name of the vendor from here, Control C. I'm copying the name of the vendor here, and I'm copying the invoice reference from here, Control C, and I'm updating the memo from here. So this is my memo for the bill, but I'm also getting my expense report. So once the expense report is generated, if this memo is blank, I will not know where I paid, for what reason we paid. So we can also copy paste this memo in this area. So I can copy it, Control C, and then click, like uh, simply paste it here, Control V, and then your memo is available in both the places. So once it is done, simply say save and close, and our bill is created. Let's say uh, if we want to add another bill, we can always click the enter bills option one more time. But the only difference is here the bill we are creating is for a vendor who is not part of our vendor center, or who is not part of our list of vendors. So how can we do that? So either you can just simply select here in the vendors and click add new, and you can start writing its name, and then you can continue. Other way, let's say if you are typing the name of the vendor like Rankin Family Insurance, you can see when I have typed the name, none of the name was matching the details, so none is selected. Then you can just simply click the tab button from your keyboard, and then you have two options: either setup, if you have all the information available like the contact person and other details you have available, you can click setup and update that information. But let's say if you don't have any other information available, you can simply say quick add, and this company name will be created in your list of vendors. Right now for this exercise, we are going with the setup option so that you can get the idea. But if you click the quick add, it will only add the name of the vendor, and it will continue with the bill. But let's go with the setup. So once you click the setup, and here you can see you can drag it up like pressing the left mouse key and hold it from the top blue area. You can drag it in the center, and then you can update the details. So the company name is, you can copy paste, Control C. I'm just going with the Control C and Control V option. And then the contact person is Mrs. Mary Rankin. So I can type here Mrs. Mary, last name is Rankin, and job title is owner or agent. And then phone number is 650 dash 7762. And the address is, as I always told you, that always go with the edit tab here to update the address. And here you can see this is the thing that I was talking about. Sometimes the data is not properly inserted in the right place, so it's always good that you can update the data by using the edit tab. So I can just simply copy paste the address from here, Control X. Name of the company is here, and then Mrs. Mary Rankin, and I can update the address. The address is 1456 Pine Street, Pine Street, and city is Bayshore. Bayshore, state is California, and zip code is 91547. So once it is done, simply click OK, and now the address is updated. If you want to have the same address in the shipping from address, then you can just simply click copy, and OK. So now the address is copied here. If you have any other information like the payment settings or tax settings or something, you can update it here. But if you don't have it, just simply select OK, and this vendor is created, and now you are in the date area. Here we'll be updating the date, which is 9/10/2023. The reference is invoice number 76908/2023, and the amount is 125.49. And here we are typing the memos. I always select this way, Control C. I'm just putting the memo here, Control V, and then the invoice from here, Control C and Control V. So once we have done here, we have to select from which expense account we have to pay for this bill. So we can select it. This is our insurance expense. So we can type INS, and you can see we have insurance expense comes up, selected. If you want this insurance expense, you don't have to select every month. You can always go to this edit tab And in this one, in your account settings, you can select here insurance. So next time when you are creating the same bill again, you don't have to select the insurance expense one more time in the expense side. So once it is done, you can just simply copy paste the memo, Control C, and then Control V. Once it is done, simply say save and close, and the transaction is just created. So once you have created the bill, the next step comes up is how to pay the bills. Paying bills is very easy. You just need to click the button which is here, pay bills option, click it. And when you are here, you can see all the bills that are that you have created in this area. So you have to select which bill you want to pay. Either you can select all of them, select all bills. If you don't want to pay all the bills, you can just clear selection. You can select one by one bill like this one. So it is your choice. But always remember that when you are paying the bills, selection will be on the top and detail of the payment will be on the downside, like how you want to pay, either by your credit card or check or whatever the information you want to give will be on the downside. So let's say for this exercise, we are paying the insurance bill, which is here, 2023, and we are paying this bill on 9/18. So we have selected this bill. So because we have not put any specific amount, system has taken the entire amount as payment amount. And then I can come here, I can put the date, so which is 9/18/23. Tab, we are paying it by check. So you can see check is already there. If we want to pay by credit card, we can select the credit card from here. But right now we go with the check. To be printed means if we want to issue multiple checks and then afterwards we will be uh, printing in a bulk, then we are actually putting the to be printed so that we don't have to remember the check numbers again and again. But if we are issuing only one check, and then we can just simply say assign check number and then we can move forward. So right now we are going with the like multiple checks. So first we select to be printed, and then we will use the account number, like we make sure that we have selected the right account from where the payment to be made. Right now we have only one checking account, maybe we have multiple checking accounts, Wells Fargo checking account, Citibank checking account, Bank of America checking account, and we want to select the right type, right bank from where we want to make payment. So we will be selecting here, and then once you have selected everything, simply say pay selected bills. So once it is done, again, it will be giving you two options. Either you want to pay more bills, or you want to print the checks, or you are done. So let's say if you don't want to do any of these things, you just want to like finish the transaction because you'll be printing later on, you can simply click done. But let's say if you want to pay more bills, you can simply click pay more bills, and you will be again in the same place. This time we'll be paying partial amount. Previous transaction was when we are paying the full amount. You can see right now nothing is selected in this area. Let's say I want to pay my GJB wireless bill. As soon as I clicked here, you see it has shown the entire amount as payment amount. But let's say we don't want to pay the full amount. We only want to pay $50. So what we can do, we can just select it and then type 50, or we can remove it and type 50, whatever the way is suitable for you. Once you are done with it, see, this is how we are making choices, how we want to pay. So we have already selected that we want to pay the partial amount, and here we are paying it on the same 18th of September. The mode of payment will be same, like we are paying by check, and the account will be same. So we have selected everything from here. You can just simply say pay selected bill, and we are done. So let's say if you want to pay more bills, you can simply click pay more bills. If you want to print checks, you can do that. If you are done with it, you can just simply say done. By saying done, it means you will be printing those checks in the later stage. So once you are done, and let's say you want to make sure that you have updated the entry properly, you can always click the pay bills, or pay more bills in the previous options that was available. So you can see previously this bill was $61.28. But now because we have already paid $50, so this bill is appearing as $11.28. So this is what I wanted to show you, that in this transaction we have the first transaction we paid the entire bill. In the second transaction we have paid the partial bill. So that's how you can make the payments when there's a bill is generated and you want to pay any of the bills. So what is the difference between the two transactions? One transaction when we are using our write check option or the credit card option directly at the time of transaction, it is a place which is actually a transaction which is then and there happening. Like you are paying the amount right away. But let's say if you are paying the amount on receive of on like after passing some days, let's say after 15 days or 30 days or 45 days, as per the credit terms, then you are first creating the bills using the enter bills option. And then once the bill is due for payment or is about to due for payment, you are paying a bill using the pay bills option. So these are the two things we have covered. Now, now we'll go with the printing the check. Okay, so now we'll be learning how to write checks. Let's say if we are doing a transaction wherein we are issuing a check right away, like we have not created any bill for this vendor and we want to uh, issue a check to a vendor. So how can we do that? Simply we can go to write checks. So again, whenever we are doing a write check option, like from here, it means we have not created a bill yet. So if you see here, pay bills, we have three transactions like GJB Wireless, Ricky, and Bayshore. So it means those are the transactions that are to be paid in future. But right now, the transaction we are creating is when we are paying right away. Like as soon as someone has given us services or someone has sold us some items. Let's take the example of the grocery store. We go there, we buy something, we pay them right away. So this is the transaction where we are paying them right away, but using our checks. So let's click this part. So now you're in the check option. You have to select from which account you want to pay. Let's say you have multiple checking accounts. So you'll be selecting the right checking account. Let's say Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Citibank. So you will be selecting the right checking account. Once you select it, the next thing is the date. So date is 12/10/23 for this transaction. So we are putting the date here. Click tab. And then we are paying it to Sandy Property Management. And then once you have updated it, so what is the amount? It's 750. And then in the memo, we will be writing what is the purpose of this payment. It is Sandy Property rent of Sandy Property Management. So you can copy paste from here. The name is, it will save our time. Control V. And then we are paying the rent of January 2024. So we have already made our check ready for the upcoming, like today is 10th of December, but we have already made our check ready so that when we will be sending this check to Sandy Property few days earlier than its due date. So the check is ready, and then you can just simply copy paste, Control C this memo and paste it in the expense account memo. Control V, and now it's done. Just simply say save and close or save and new. Let's say if you have more transaction, you can click save and new. But if this was the final transaction that you want to make, then it's already done. You can just simply say save and close and you'll be out of the screen. So, but let's say for this exercise, we are actually creating one more check that is for a vendor. So click save and new. And by chance, this vendor is not part of our vendors right now. So what we can do, we are just typing the name of the vendor first because we don't know whether this vendor is part of our vendors or not. So Bayshore Cafe. So now you can see this vendor is not visible here. It means this is a new vendor. So once you type it, simply click tab, and here you can again get the same option that I showed you before, like for the Rankin family. Either you can quick add or setup. So we have done the setup in the previous transaction. So we are doing quick add for this transaction. So simply say quick add. It's a vendor. Click OK. And now you can see the Bayshore Cafe is already added in your vendor. And now you'll be updating the details. So the amount, the date is 12/30/23, 12/30/23, and the amount of this transaction is 37.49. And then the purpose of this transaction is Bayshore Cafe lunch with client. So we can just simply copy paste, Control C in the memo. sorry, Bayshore Cafe, right? And then it was of December 2023. So you can copy paste, Control C, Control V. Again, we can see here, we have created one expense, but we don't know the expense account. So always remember that whenever we are doing any lunch or party to the staff or something, we have one very common account head, that is entertain meals and entertainment. Simply select that head. So if you have multiple accounts, you can just simply start typing and it will come up. So meals and entertainment, you have selected the expense account. Simply say save and close, and our transaction is generated. So that's how you can create multiple transactions, or you can say you can make multiple payments either by selecting the transaction right away, or you are doing it for the future transaction. So when you are doing for the like future payments, you are using the enter bills and then pay bills option. But if you are paying the check right away, then you'll be just simply selecting the write checks option from this place. So right now, when I was creating the check, I intentionally make one missing. That was the date of the check, or sorry, not the date, the name, the number of the check. So let's say if you have done a mistake similar to this one, don't get panic. You can again open the write checks option one more time, and then you can go to that check again. Like you have the two options here. We can go to that check here, Bayshore Cafe. So this check, we need to print it right away. So we can just simply select here, print later. And here you can see now this check number is visible now. We have to give this check number as 1248, and we are good. So once it is done, simply say save and close. So it will say you have changed the transaction. Of course, we have changed the transaction because we want to update the check number. Say yes, and we are good. So that's how you can update the check number if you missed it in the check. Next thing that we are doing here is actually printing the checks. So printing checks is very easy. Simply click here, print checks option. And then here you can choose whether you want to print all of the checks or you want to select any specific check. And then you can simply select those checks and click OK. And all of those checks will be printed. Right now, I'm not doing that transaction. We are just covering the transaction that pertains to the, the, the entering bills and payment of bills. Printing is simply like you can just simply go to print checks and you can select the check that you want to print and then simply click OK, and that will be printed on your desk on your printers. So let me cancel it now. Okay. So now we'll be doing a transaction using our credit card or debit card. We have already done a transaction using the write checks option, and we have already seen how to print the checks. The next topic is how to use a transaction using the debit card. So debit card is actually issued against a check and checking account. So we have to go with the write checks option here, but instead of using the credit card, instead of using the check, we'll be using the debit, like DB word instead of check numbers. So let's do that part. So let's say if I want to pay any vendor using my debit card, I can just simply click write checks. And in this one, let's say I am here to pay the bill of, let's say, graphic supply shop, and I'm paying, let's say, $50 to this vendor. I'm now in the memo area. Here I am paying for my office supplies. So let's say I type here office supplies, and then I can copy the name of this vendor here, Control C, Control V, and then office supplies, and then I'm copying from here. So I'm just copying from a memo. So it is not very important thing. I'm just updating the information. So here, let's say I bought the bill, or you can say the stationery of $50. So I can just simply put it here. This supplier is providing us two type of item. One is job material, the other one is office supplies. So that's why system has not mentioned which like the value to be taken. So we have to put in the right place. This transaction we are doing for the office supplies, so I have put it in the office supplies. I copy pasted the memo from up, and then we can just simply say save and close, uh, save and close, and then it will be done. So that's how you can do a transaction. But the only thing is, you can see again that I missed to update the check number. Why? Because check number is required to we are actually doing this transaction for the debit card. So we can go to that transaction again. You can see here it is mentioned as to be printed. You can simply click print later option, and then you can type here DB. That shows it's a debit card transaction. So again, simply say save and close, and it will be done. So I missed it. That's why I have to go again inside this area. But when you are updating the transaction, you can simply click the write checks. In this area, you again uncheck this print later. You can type here directly DB, and then you can type the name of the vendor. So let's say we are paying for graphic supply shop, and the amount is, let's say, $75. And this is about buying some job material. So I'm just copy pasting, Control C, Control V, and then job material. And you can see here, I'm just paying by debit card. That's why instead of check number, I mentioned here DB. It depends on what your company has selected. Maybe they are typing the entire of the debit card word, or they may be typing DR or whatever. So you just need to use the same word here so that when you generate the report, it should be showing the same information. So then DB, and then you can type in the job material. The value is $75. So type 75 here, and then just copy paste, Control C, and then Control V. And once everything is done, simply say save and close. So here we have learned how to update the transactions using the debit card, or how to do the transactions using the debit card. The third option is if you want to go with the credit card payment. So very simple. We have already seen how to pay by check, how to pay by debit card. Credit card option is here. We already seen if you have entered the bill, how to pay the bills. So here we are entering the bills regarding a credit card transaction. So simply you have two options. One is purchase, the other one is refunds. Let's say if you're buying something, you'll be going with this radio button selected. If you are updating a transaction about your refund or return of any item, you'll be using this button. So you can see it's totally a different color. So now let's say we are doing a transaction of purchase, and in this one we are again buying it from the same vendor. Let's say graphic supply, and the date is same, and then memo or references, let's say invoice 60 August 2023. So invoice number 60 August 2023. So I have put the reference number here. Amount is, let's say, 100. And now I'm updating here the memo. So don't get confused. I'm just copy pasting, Control C, and then in the memo, Control V, and then I'm copying the invoice number, Control C, bring it here, Control V. Once it's all updated, copy it from here, Control C, and then because it's all about job materials, I'm just putting it here, Control V, and the amount is 100. So we can just type here 100. So just you can see that we have already selected the payment is by using the credit card, and it's a purchase transaction. The name of the vendor will be here, date, invoice number, and the amount is here. And then you can simply say save and close, and the entry is generated. So now we have learned how to do a transaction using the enter bills and pay bills, or we are doing a transaction directly, like by using the check, or by using the debit card, or by using the credit card. So these are different ways of doing a transaction. The last option is how to edit or update the entries. So in order to edit some of the entries, so we have done 2 or 3 entries in the last. So let's learn how to edit those transaction using those entries. So first thing we are doing here is editing a transaction that we have done using our credit card. So just click it, And when you are inside this one, you can just simply select the previous and forward button, do two button here. Let's say we can go backward, and then we can see graphic supply shop is here. Let's say this entry was not of $100. It was an entry of $110. So you can change it here. Maybe you can change the invoice number from 823 to 824 or whatever you want. So once you're done with it, you can always update the places where the updates required. So once all the transactions are done, all the changes are done, simply say save and close. System will actually alarm you that you are about to change the transaction. Do you want to record your changes? Say yes. And so I just missed to update the balance here in the expense account. Let me update it 110. Yeah. Say save and close. Do you want to record your changes? Say yes. And the transaction is updated. So that's how you can update or edit any transactions if you want to, if it happens in the credit card. If let's say you have done a transaction or mistake in the check or debit card, you have to click this button and then you can update it. So I can go backward here and you can see 1248. Let's say this one 37.49. We have done some more transactions like graphic supply $75. So let's say we want to update this value. You can always come here and then change the value from 75 to 70. And then of course, this is about job material. And then you can select here the 70 as well, 70 as well. So once it is done, simply click tab and then save and close. System will warn you that you have made some changes. Do you want to record your changes? Say yes, and now the transaction is updated. So these are the two ways you can actually search for the transaction and then do it in the like write checks or debit card or credit card. Another way of searching for a transaction is our edit or find button. So if you want to find any transaction, or you can go with the find or search option. So let's say we go with the find option, and this one will be selecting, let's say, the bill, and the vendor we have created is graphic supply shop something. So we can just select the name of the person, or you can just type here GJB wireless. I know that we have done one transaction for GJB wireless as well. Select it. So you have selected the transaction type, you have selected the name of the person, like it's a vendor or customer. Simply say find, and all the transactions that we have done with this vendor will be visible display. Select it and then click go to or double click it. It will open the transaction. Let's say the transaction was done for reference number 6023.2. Let's say it is something else. You can update the same thing here, 23.2, and then this one at the end of it, just 0.2. So now we have updated our memo, we have updated our the amount or date or whatever you want to change. Once all is done, simply say save and close or save and new. So let's say go with the save and close. Say yes, we want to make changes, and it's done. So now you can close it so that you can see on your screen. So this is how you can work with the vendors. Today, what we have learned is how to work with the vendors, like how to enter the bills. In this class, how to enter the bills, how to pay the bills, how to pay bills using the credit card, how to pay bill using the debit card, how to pay bills using the check option. We also learn how to work the find option to search for a specific transaction and make changes in it. So this is pretty much we are covering about the vendors. Uh, I hope this recording will serve the purpose and help you in your day-to-day transactions. Thank you very much.